Hello students, welcome to online ELGA class at Lead School at Home. Today we will be covering ELGA 17, Day 1 of Unit 1. Every day you would be attending the online class and doing the homework for that day. You can then check your answers the following day. Make sure that you have your student reader, your workbook and your notebook with you at all times while attending the online class. So shall we begin today's class? Do you see what is written on this paper? Can you read it? That's correct. Say it aloud. Science and technology. I want you to take 10 seconds and think of all the words that come to your mind when you think of the word science and technology. Say it aloud. Say any words that come to your mind when you hear the term science and technology. I have written down a few words that come to my mind. Words like development, new, future, information technology, scientist, innovation. See, there are several words that came to my mind when I heard the term science and technology. Now, I'm going to show you a video and I want you all to pay close attention and we will know more about science and technology.
What is science? The moment we hear the word science, we tend to think of different types of machines, equipment, and laboratories. Does science mean different types of machines, new inventions, and new ways of running industries? Or is science related to different types of experiments and various inventions based on these experiments? Let us have a look at various things to understand more about science. These farmers are separating the grains from the chaff. They know that wind blows away the chaff, leaving the grains behind. They know that it will be difficult to separate the grains one by one, and therefore they use this method. This process works on the principle that chaff is lighter than the grains, and therefore it gets lifted by the wind and gets removed. Is this not scientific? How did they know about it? They knew about it through observation. Science is not only learnt in labs, but you and I can also observe the world around us and understand these processes. We can use it to build new technology, just like how this child has made a washing machine using a bicycle. You can also make new machines by observing and learning from the world around you. Technology makes our work easier. Something that you can see around you, like a stapler, a screw, or even a sewing machine. They are all examples of technology. Observing the world around us, questioning, and thinking creatively are important to learn science and to build new technology. Science is everywhere. You just have to look around.
What did you learn about science and technology from this video? For me, what I understood from the video is that science and technology is all around us, right? And science is not just about the big machines and the aeroplanes and big things. Science is, in fact, a way of thinking where you ask questions. You keep asking questions and try to find answers to them, right? So do not, when you do not accept anything as it is, but you have to know why and what and how behind it, and you keep asking questions, you are a part of science and technology, because you are asking questions and you are trying to find the answers to them, right? Now, let us watch a slideshow to understand what science and technology actually means. So, what do you think science means? The word science means to know, to know. And what is science? Science is collection of knowledge. And how do we collect this knowledge? By observing our world and by doing experiments. That's how we collect the knowledge, by observing and by doing experiments. We come up with the facts and rules of science by conducting the experiments and getting the same results again and again, right? So often we talk about certain facts, scientific facts, and we talk about rules of science, laws of science. And how do you think people arrived at these facts and rules? They conducted experiments, and every time they conducted the same experiment, they got the same result. So based on that, we came up with facts and rules of science. For example, what happens when we throw a ball in the air? It eventually comes down, doesn't it? Even if we throw it very high, it eventually comes down. When Sachin hits a sixer, do you think the ball flies away at any point? It doesn't. It may go and hit the gallery, but eventually it does come down. The ball comes down. And does it come down every time we throw it? Of course it does. Yes, we can conduct this experiment and check on our own that whether, even a single time does it happen that we throw a ball and it flies away into the sky. No, it doesn't. But if you want to be sure, you can check it on your own. That is why we say that we come up with facts and rules of science by conducting experiments and by getting the same results again and again. What do you think technology means? We talked about science. Now, what do you think technology means? Technology is when we use science to create things that make our lives easier and solve our problems. See, there are so many words here. We create things. And how do we create things? We use science. We use science to create things. And what are these things? These are those things that make our lives easier and solve our problems. So when there is any difficulty that we are facing, and it can be solved by creating things, we use science to create such things that makes these difficulties go away. It makes our lives easier. And there are a lot of problems that we can solve using technology. Let's look at this example. What is this? Yeah, it is a lock. And which problem does it solve? Why do we need a lock? That's correct. It solves the problem of theft and things being taken away. When we want to make sure that nobody else takes our things, then we use a lock. We use our knowledge of science to make this lock, right? So we know about what material can be used. Do you think using a light material like paper would help it? No, because it will be easily torn off. So we know that we need something heavy, something which is not easy for someone to break, right? So we use metal and we use material which is tough, which is really good and which will solve the purpose of keeping our things safe, right? So that's science, and this knowledge of science we use in creating the lock. And when we do that, we are actually using technology. So what problems do these things solve? The first one, a pencil. Correct. To write, we have paper, but how do we write? We need something to write on. And so we use pencils for that. Glass. How do you use a glass? That's correct. There's water everywhere, but to drink it easily, you need a glass, right? Otherwise, you're wasting water. Imagine there is water flowing out of a pipe, a tap, and you're trying to drink water. So much of water will get wasted, isn't it? Instead, if you have a tumbler, a glass, you just fill it up and you drink it. You don't waste any water. How about bags? Why do we need bags? You know what? When my mom used to go to school, she used to carry all her books in her hand. So, of course, they didn't have as many books as we do these days, but still, you had to carry all the books, you had to carry your tiffin box, your water bottle, an umbrella, all these things in your hand. You didn't carry, she didn't carry it in a bag. Now, what is the big problem that a bag has solved? You can keep so many things inside the bag, and carrying things has become easier. It solves the problem of noting down things on easily on paper, solves the problem of storing water for drinking, and solves the problem of carrying things from one place to another. So now that you have watched a video and you have seen a slideshow, what do you recall and what do you think about science and technology? What did you learn about science and technology? Let me recount a few things that I learned. Well, I learned that science means to know, right? And how do we know things? And it's a collection. Yes, we talked about science being collection of knowledge. And how do we get this knowledge? We get the knowledge by observing, right? We keep looking at things, we observe, and we get the knowledge. We conduct experiments. We conduct a lot of experiments, right? And I also learned that we develop scientific facts and rules by doing experiments again and again and getting the same result each time, right? That is when we say that this is a scientific fact. And what is the example that we used? We used about how we will throw a ball high up and finally, at the end, it will always come down. The ball thrown up will always come down. So I'm sure our scientists would have done this experiment several times to see if I throw it really high, will it just go up? It doesn't. Every time it comes down. So that is a scientific fact that the scientists developed. Correct? Okay. What else did we know? What else did we talk about? We talked about technology, right? And what is technology? Technology is using science to correct, create things. And why do we create things? To make our lives easier and solve our problems, right? Our problems are solved by creating things using science, and that is what is technology. And what examples did we look at? We looked at pencils, looked at a tumbler in which you have water. We talked about a bag, you carry the bag, right? So all those things we talked about, and these are all part of technology because these are products that were created using science to solve some problems. Students, now we are going to solve a worksheet to know how much we have understood about science and technology. I want you all to open your workbook to WS1. For all those who have the physical copy of the workbook with you, please open your workbook to WS1. If you do not have the physical copy, then please open the downloaded version of the workbook to WS1. If you have still not downloaded the workbook, this is the time to do so. Please download the workbook from the parent app. The link is given in the parent app. Please download it now. For those who have still not received the link to download, you will have to pause this class. You'll have to press the pause button and continue and write down the questions in your workbook, in your notebook. And once you are done, you go ahead with the class. All right, is that clear? Shall we open the workbooks now? Okay, and how do we usually do that? I give you a countdown for those who can open the physical copy of the workbook and for those who can open the downloaded version. So let me give you a countdown from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. This is the worksheet or the WS that you have to open. WS1, Science and Technology. Do you all see this? Okay, so let's look at question number 1 here. Tick the correct answer for the following questions. Do you see that? All right. And which is the first one in this? Which of the following is the correct meaning of science? There are 3 meanings given. You have to find the correct one and then put a tick mark, near to it. Tick mark on the answer. And let's read the answers. Conducting experiments with different types of liquids. The study of nature and how things work in the physical world. Remembering information given in our textbooks. Which do you think is the correct meaning of science? You are absolutely correct. It is the study of nature and how things work in the physical world. Now there are 2 more questions given here. Which of the following statements are ideas that can be proved by science? Okay, these are statements and ideas that can be proved by science. You have to tick mark the correct answers. That's question number B. We will definitely discuss the answers, but now I want you to answer these questions yourself. Are you done with B? Can we look at C? Those who are using the soft copy or the downloaded version of the workbook, please write down the answer with the proper question number in your notebook. Please find the answers for both B and C. Are you done? All right, let me give you a countdown from 10 and by then you should have completed the answers. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now let us look at the answers. Okay, see, this is the first question which we had already discussed. Which of the following is the correct meaning of science? a series of steps that scientists follow to find out how nature works. That is one meaning of science. Now let's see the next one. Which of the following statements show ideas that can be proved by science? Right. And which are the things that can be proved by science? All birds fly. Right. This is something that science will be able to prove and then say that whether all birds can fly or not. Water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. This is again something that science can prove. They can test all the what do you say, they test the water, they keep boiling different pots of water, and then they will look at the temperature at which it starts boiling, right? And it can be proved. Now why can't they prove whether peacocks are beautiful birds or pencils are better than pens? Look at the statement. Peacocks are beautiful birds. That is an opinion. Peacock is a bird, can be proved by science. But peacocks are beautiful birds is an opinion, right? And that cannot be proved. Pencils are better than pens. I prefer writing with pencils. You may prefer writing with pens, right? So that's not something that science can prove. This is each person's personal opinion. Okay, so that is the reason these statements cannot be proved by science. There are no experiments to prove it. Okay, let's look at question number C. Which of the following are examples of technology? Using a hammer to drive a nail into the wall. See, look at that. The hammer, because of the way its head is, it can help in nailing a nail into the wall or driving a nail into the wall. Same way, using a rolling pin to make chapatis. Otherwise, imagine how difficult it would be to make chapatis. Keep hitting them in your palms. That would have been a real tough job. But because of rolling pin, we are able to make chapatis easily. So these two are examples of technology, how we use science to make our lives easier. Sweating in the sun is not a technology, right? We are not using it to do anything. So that's only a science. We know that it is true that if we stand in the sun for long, we will sweat. But we are not using that science to do anything right now. Okay. So technology is the first two answers, use of technology or examples of technology. Okay, so did you all get the answers correct? Did you get all the answers correct? Excellent. Now let us move on. All right, students, that was the end of whole words section for today. Now let us move on to reading and listening comprehension. Can we quickly recall what we learned in the whole words class? Correct. We learned about science and technology. And what did we learn about science and technology? Do you recall what is meant by science and what is meant by technology? Excuse me. That's correct. Science is a way of thinking. It's all around us, right? It's around us all the time. It requires one to observe the environment and experiment to find out about the world around us. And do you recall what is technology? Technology is using science to make things that will make our lives easier or solves any problem, right? That is what is technology. And based on the discussion that we had, what do you think is the theme of this unit? Correct. This unit is based on the theme of science and technology. Now we are going to watch a video and then we will discuss about it after watching it. Let's watch the video carefully.
Audio Jungle. 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 Audio Jungle.
So, what did you see in the video? You saw different ways in which technology makes our lives easier and that it has changed through time, right? Do you recall seeing the telephone the way it was? It was a bulky machine, right? And then it got into a slightly smaller form. And then the phones that we use today, it is so light and we can do so many things using the phone, right? It evolved through different times, and from past it came changed, and now we use a very advanced version of phones, right? Even otherwise we other things like printer. Earlier we just used to have the 2D printer where you have the printed things. Now you can take a you have a 3D printer. It showed how you can print a ball. That's amazing, isn't it? All right. What is something new that you have learned through this video? For me, the 3D printer was really a revelation. I never thought we could print a 3D ball. That's too big for me. So that was a new thing that I learned. And is there something that you want to know more about? Okay, so when you want to know more about something, it means that you have been wondering about it. You wonder, wonder about it. Oh, why is it that so? If I think like this, I am wondering about it. Students, what do you know about this word? Have you heard of this word before, wonder? Okay, so wonder actually means asking questions when we are curious and want to know more about something, right? See, sometimes, when I was young, I used to, my job at home was cutting vegetables, chopping vegetables. And the one thing that I hated chopping were onions, right? Those red onions. And when you chop them, you start crying. And I wondered and wondered all the time, why do onions make me cry? Every time I cut them, I am crying uncontrollably. Tears are rolling down my eyes. And I kept wondering, why do onions make me cry? So that is what is wondering. Have you wondered about something in a similar way? Seen something and you got curious about it, wanted to know more about it? Then you ask questions and you wonder. Students, now we are going to watch the video again, the one that we saw just now. We will watch it again, and this time I want you all to frame two questions that made you wonder. Right? Two things that made you wonder as you watch the video. All right? So let me play the video again. And right now, only think. I'll give you time to write down the questions later. Right now, just think about or identify things from the video that makes you wonder.
Audio Jungle. 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 Audio
Now students, now that you have seen this video again, I want you to write down the two questions that made you wonder, right? And I want you to start your questions with I wonder and your questions, two questions, all right? I'm giving you 2 minutes to complete this, all right? Write down the question, I wonder. Write down any two things that made you wonder based on the video. All right, students, your time ends in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Did you write down the questions that made you wonder? Very nice. Let me share a few of the questions that I wrote down. I too wrote down questions that made me wonder. Like, I wonder when aeroplanes were first invented. I wonder who came up with the idea of telephone. I wonder how detectives use fingerprints to find criminals. These all things were questions that I wondered about. What are your questions? Did you write many or did you write two of them? All right. So now, why do you think we wrote these questions? In science, it's very important to ask questions, to know more about things, right? And it is very important that we wonder because it helps us to learn more. When we wonder about something, we get curious to know about it and we learn more about it. So, questioning and wondering helps us to learn more. It helps us to know what we do not know. It helps us to be creative and makes our imagination better, right? So these are the reasons for which we need to wonder. These are the reasons for which we need to question more. So students, that brings us to the end of the reading and listening comprehension section for today. So what did you learn in today's class in reading and listening comprehension? I want you to write down two things that you learned in today's class. Don't write, things like I learned how science helps us. That's very vague, it's not concrete. We need to write something really strong. So you can start, for example, I learned that science and technology has helped us by complete that sentence. So you can write any such thing, but be sure about writing it in detail. Okay. So again, I'm giving you 2 minutes to write down two things that you learned in the reading and listening comprehension section today about science and technology or about anything that you learned today. We learned mostly about science and technology. So write about that in detail. 2 minutes, 2 points. All right, students, your time ends in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I hope you all wrote down the two things that you learned in today's class during the reading and listening comprehension section. Good. Now let us move on to the grammar section. Have you seen this word before? What does it say? It says pronoun. Correct. It says pronoun. And what are pronouns? Absolutely correct. Pronouns are words we use in place of nouns. Correct. And when do we use them? Right. When we use them in place of nouns, when we need to avoid using and repeating the same noun, right? I saw a girl. The girl was walking on the road. The girl saw a dog. The girl went to the dog. The girl gave the dog some food. The girl picked up the dog. The girl walked back home. That's too many girls, right? Too many girl, girl, girl. I am going on repeating it. So, in order to do away with that, I replace the word girl, which is a noun, right? The noun is the girl, with certain other words, and these words are called pronouns, right? All right. Can you give me some examples of pronouns? Right. He, she, me, they, we, you, right? All these are I. Yes, of course. I, me, myself. All these are examples of pronouns. Now, students, what we are going to do is, I'm going to show you an item, anything like a pen, right? And I will ask the question, whose pen is this? Okay, and you have to complete the answer with any one of these words. Can you see them clearly? Hers, his, yours, or mine. Okay, so if I were to ask, whose pen is this? Your answer would be, this pen is hers. This pen is hers, right? Or this pen is his. All right, so shall we begin the game? I'm going to show you a couple of items and you have to tell me whose item is this, right? Let's try. Whose powder tin is this? This powder tin is his. Or this powder tin is mine. Or this powder tin is yours, right? Yours. Let's try with one more item. Whose? Whose is this? Whose tea bags are this? Are these? These are mine. Or these are his. These are hers. These are yours. Right? One more. Let's try one more. Whose notebook is this? Whose notebook is this? This notebook is yours. This notebook is mine. This notebook is hers. This notebook is his. Right? Did you notice anything particular about the pronouns that we learned right now? The four words that we learned? Yours, mine, his, hers, etc. These are called possessive pronouns. Alright, what are they called? Possessive pronouns. Today we will learn more about possessive pronouns. Please watch carefully as I show you a slideshow on possessive pronouns. Whose puppy is this? This puppy is mine. Mine. Whose puppy is this? This puppy is yours. Again, whose puppy is this? This puppy is yours. Two people. See, there are two people. Earlier, there was just one. Let's go back there and see it. See, one person was also yours. This puppy is yours. And then there were two owners for the puppy. It's again, the puppy is yours. Whose puppy is this? This puppy is hers. There's a little girl there. So the puppy is hers. Whose puppy is this? The puppy is his. Now the puppy belongs to the young boy. The puppy is his. Whose puppy is this? The puppy is ours, right? All of us. It belongs to all of us. This puppy is ours. Again, whose puppy is this? This puppy is theirs. Theirs. Someone else's, right? There was many people and theirs. You will see a picture of a room. There are many things there. Answer whose things those are. Do you see different children there? There is Prakash, Zara, Naved and Roma. Whose books are these? Whose books are these? Do you see a book circled? A red circle? Yes. So whose books are these? Will you say his or hers? Correct. They belong to Prakash. So you will say his. Those books are his. Whose eraser is this? On whose table is the eraser? Look at the red circle. It's on Zara's table. So whose eraser is this? Correct. The eraser is hers. If it was a boy or man, we would say his. If it is a girl or lady, we would say hers. H-E-R-S, hers. This puppy is ours. Which word shows us who the puppy belongs to? How do we know that the puppy belongs to whom? The word ours, right, absolutely right. Ours. When we say ours, it means that the puppy belongs to us. The pronoun that tells us who the objects belong to are called possessive pronoun. They answer the question whose. So whenever you answer a question starting with whose house is this? The house is his. Whose motorbike is this? The motorbike is hers. Whose bag is this? The bag is theirs. Whose pen is this? The pen is hers, right? So this way, any word that answers the question whose, the pronoun that answers the question whose are called possessive pronouns. The pronouns that tell us who the object belongs to. Now see, look at this. This puppy is mine. It tells that the puppy belongs to me. This puppy is hers. It means it tells us that the puppy belongs to her. The puppy is ours, which means that the puppy belongs to us. This puppy is yours, meaning the puppy belongs to you. This puppy is his, meaning this puppy belongs to him. This puppy is theirs. It means that this puppy belongs to them, right? So all these words, mine, hers, ours, yours, his, theirs, etc. are words that tells us to whom a particular object belongs to, right? And these words are called possessive pronouns. I hope you have got an idea about what is meant by possessive pronouns. Now that we have gone through the slideshow, let us do an exercise on our own, right? So I want you all to open worksheet or workbook to WS1. WS1. All those who have downloaded the workbooks, please open the workbook, the downloaded form of the workbook, and look at WS1, question number 2, right? Those who still have not downloaded the workbooks, please do it right away. And those who do not have the links for the workbook, please write down the question in your notebooks by pausing the video and then continuing it after you have written down the questions. Have you all opened WS1 question number 2, either in the physical form of the book or in the downloaded form? If you have, then let's start the exercise. All those who are using the soft copy, please write down the answer words in your notebook. Only the answer words in the notebook. All right? Okay, so here is WS1 question number 2. What are you expected to do? Underline the possessive pronouns in the sentences given below. If you are using the soft copy of the workbook, please write the word itself. Only the word. You don't have to write the whole sentence. Only the word, the correct word, which is the possessive pronoun in the notebook. Alright? Okay, what are you supposed to do? Underline the possessive pronoun in the sentences given below. Let's look at A. Is this book yours? Is this book yours? Which is the possessive pronoun here? Correct. You have learnt it. The possessive pronoun here is yours. Y-O-U-R-S, yours. Right. Good. So please underline it. And the others who do not have the book, please write the word down in the notebook. Similarly, I want you all to complete all the questions here. That was A. We have questions up to J. I want you to complete all these questions right now. I'm giving you 3 minutes to complete it. You don't have to write the entire sentence in the notebook. You just have to write the correct answer, which is the possessive pronoun. Write the worksheet number, WS number. Write the question number, which is question number 2. And then A, B, C, D up to J, right? So please start off. And we need to complete this in 3 minutes. Your time starts now. Students, your time comes to an end in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Did you all manage to complete the question in worksheet 1, WS1? Very nice, very nice. Now let us check the answers and see if we were able to get all the correct possessive pronouns. All right, so here you go. The second one was, ours is the senior most class. And the possessive pronoun is ours. Correct. The decision was entirely theirs. Theirs. That's right. Theirs is the possessive pronoun. The bicycle is mine. And that's the possessive pronoun. We shall have what is ours. Again, ours is the possessive pronoun. What is mine is yours. Here only yours is underlined, but mine is also a possessive pronoun, isn't it? What is mine is yours. So both mine and yours have to be underlined. The shop near the school is hers. The shop near the school is hers. There again, hers is the possessive pronoun. The hard work is yours. And yours is the possessive pronoun. All these kites are his. His, correct. The possessive pronoun is his. The victory in the competition is completely theirs. Absolutely correct. The possessive pronoun in the sentence is theirs. See, you have got what is meant by possessive pronouns and how to identify it. Right? Excellent. All right, students. So with that, we come to the end of grammar section for today. You learned about possessive pronouns and how to identify them in sentences. Now we move on to the last section of today's class, which is writing and speaking expression. Okay, tell me quickly, remind me in fact, what is the theme of this unit? That's correct, science and technology. In this unit, we will learn to write informational articles. Have you heard of the term or phrase informational articles? Informational articles. What do you think that means? It means, yes, these articles explain or give information about a topic, right? These are articles written to inform or explain a certain topic to the readers, right? So it gives mainly information. Anything when you write an article so that you can inform or give information to someone, then you are writing an informational article, all right? So I want you to do one thing. I want you to open your student reader 1 to SR3. Student reader 1 to SR3. All those who have not downloaded the student reader yet, please do so right away. You really have to do it. Please get the link in the Lead Parent app and download the student reader. For those who have still not received the link, do not worry, you can use the student reader that I will be opening on the screen for you, right? Okay, so here we go. Let's open the student reader. I'm going to read an article aloud to you. While I'm reading, I want you all to think what this article is about, what are the ideas being shared in this article, and why this article is being written or was being written by the author, right? So what are the three things that you will think about? What is this article, what this article is about, what are the ideas shared, and why this article was written, all right? Now I'm going to read it aloud. Please pay attention to your book. You can read along with me. And if you do not have a book, please pay attention to the screen. You need to open Student Reader 1 to SR 3. SR 3. Let me give you a countdown from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Opened the student reader to SR3. Do you see this page? This is the page to which you need to come to. All right. Shall we start reading? Informational article. Bicycles. Have you ever ridden or seen a bicycle? Bicycles are one of the most popular and preferred vehicles in our country. But have you ever thought about how they must have changed over time? People started building bicycles in the 1800s. That is more than 200 years ago. Since then, bicycles have gone through a lot of changes in their design except for the two wheels. The first bicycle, called the running machine, was built by Carl Dreis in Germany. The rider had to push the bicycle with their feet. Its frame and wheels were made of wood. Within the next 30 to 40 years, pedals were added to the bicycle, which allowed the rider to keep their feet above the ground. In the next 20 years, pedals were attached to the front wheel of the bicycle to make it move. This new bicycle's frame was made with iron and the wheels were made of iron or wood. In the next few years, a new design with a tall front wheel and a small wheel at back was introduced. The seat was fixed above the tall wheel in the front. Because of the large wheel, this bicycle moved faster. However, it was also difficult to sit on and the riders would often fall. This made the bicycle dangerous and unsafe to ride. Later, John Starley improved on this design and created a safer bicycle that looked very similar to the bicycles we use today. The two wheels were of almost the same size and the seat was fixed between the two wheels, which were made of rubber. This made the bicycles much safer to ride and use. Today's bicycles are an improvement on the design of the bicycle created by John Starley. We still continue to improve the design of the bicycle. New materials are being used to make the bicycles stronger, faster, safer, and more comfortable to ride. There are many designs available today to choose from. What kind of bicycles do you want to ride in the future? Did you all read that informational article about bicycles along with me? Great. Now tell me, what is the article about? Correct. The article is about bicycles and how they changed over the time, isn't it? Very correct. Very, very correct. And what are the key ideas shared in the article? Yes, again, the key ideas that are shared in the article include how the bicycle changed the shape and form and how they became the way they are right now. Isn't it? They talk about the safety feature, how fast they were, and how the first bicycle was and how it slowly turned into the one that we use today. What do you think is the purpose of this article? Or why do you think this article was written? Correct. This article was written to give us information about bicycles and their evolution over the time. Evolution means how they changed over the time till it reached the stage it is right now. It also tells us that even now these bicycles are being they improved, the designs are being improved, different materials are being used to create better, faster and safer bicycles. Right. So I'm going to show you another slideshow on what are informational articles and what their features are. Okay, so what is an informational article? It is nothing but a text that inform the reader about facts on different topics, right? Informational articles are texts that inform the readers about facts on different topics. And what is the purpose of writing an informational article? These are written to inform and explain true or factual information. These are not stories. These are not, incidents that you explain. These are facts and they give us factual information. They inform and explain. How do we write a good informational article? To write a good informational article, we must gather facts. We need to gather facts about the topic. Think about what information we want to share with the readers and why. Now, you can write so many things about bicycles, right? You can write, why we use bicycles, or what are the small machines that make a bicycle work. You can write about the materials used in a bicycle. There are different things about which you could have written. But this author preferred to write and tell us about the history of bicycles, right? So we need to think about what information we want to share with the readers and why we want to share that information. What are the different parts of an informational article? There is an introduction, there is a body, and there is a conclusion. Introduction introduces the ideas and get the readers interested in reading the article. Every article must start with an interesting introduction that makes the reader curious to know more. And that is what even an information article must start with. A very interesting introduction. The body of the informational article is where we will write down the details and give examples for each of the details that we are providing. And finally, in the conclusion, we will summarize the ideas and leave the readers with something to think about, right? It makes the reader want to think as to what would happen next, or make them think about a different scenario or same scenario in his or her own life, right? So something, we must always conclude the paragraph, conclude the article with something that will make the readers think. I want you all to draw this table in your notebook and find the supporting details and closing from the article given on SR3. Please open the notebook to a fresh page and draw this table in there. First draw the table, then I'll tell you what to do. You can draw this table exactly as it is. Topic, supporting details and closing. I'm giving you 2 minutes to complete drawing the table. Do not write anything else, just draw the table. 2 minutes and your time starts now. Students, I hope you have drawn the table because your time comes to an end in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now, I want you to think of all the supporting details that were given in the article based on SR3 that you have read. Please refer to SR3. Those who do not have the physical books nor the downloaded book, please rewind the video, the class that we are going through right now to the SR and look for the details from there. And then you will also write the closing. You will find what details were given in the closing paragraph. All right. So this is an activity that you will complete in your homework today. This is your homework that you will complete this table, and in the next class we will discuss the details and see whether you have managed to write down all the supporting details and the elements of the closing paragraph. So based on what we learned today, can you tell me what is meant by an informational article? An informational article is one that informs the readers about facts on different topics. Correct. And why are informational articles written? Informational articles are written to inform and explain true or factual information. And what are the three main parts of the article that we learned today? We learned the three main parts are the topic, the supporting details, and the closing, right? Topic, supporting details, and closing. Correct. In the next class, we will learn how to organize these ideas properly and write an informational article. All right, students, that brings us to the end of today's class. Can we quickly do a recap of everything that we learned today? In the whole word section, we read about the meaning of science and technology. In the reading and listening comprehension section, we try to understand the importance of asking questions and how to wonder. Oh, I wonder. Remember that? That's what we did in the reading and listening comprehension section. In the grammar section today, we learned about possessive pronouns. Correct. We learned about possessive pronouns, and some of the examples that we learned were ours, theirs, his, hers, mine, yours, etc. Right? And finally, in the writing and speaking expression, what did we learn? We talked about informational articles, why they are written, and what are the three parts of an informational article, which includes the topic, the details, the supporting details, and the conclusion. Correct? And we have a homework today. We have to complete the table that we drew for writing and speaking expression, right? Please do complete the work. Students, remember that it is very important to be regular with the homeworks, right? When we are regular with the homeworks, it becomes easier to continue and maintain continuity with the learning process, in the learning process. All right. So thank you so much. And yes, I forgot to tell you this. You need to ask your parents to help in correcting your worksheets and homework in the next class. All right. So bye. Happy learning.